Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hello and welcome today. You're joined by me, Daniel, and we are drawing the beer today. I have featured this in a few like weekly tips things, drawing the beer scale. And I think I did a bit about paws that featured a little bit about like how beer scales are a little different. Well, beer paws a little different, so I delved a little bit into that kind of a thing. And also I did beer scales, heads as well, I think, drawing the beer. So I thought, oh, why not do a whole stream just drawing beers? And yeah, I started off just drawing as I do. I just did a quick sketch. This is a quick kind of drawing that I've done of a beer already pre-stream. They can join me in. And yeah, that's awesome. So welcome to my stream today. Yeah, I do these streams every now and again. You know, I do live streams, I do chats, everything like that. And I've done heaps of like anatomy drawing streams and stuff like that. And just drawing animals as well. So I thought today I'll do bears. Yeah, because I've delved a little bit into drawing bears, and these kind of my images. So if you want to follow along, feel free to follow along. If you want to draw what I see and draw the images that I'm drawing, it's fine with me. You can draw along, or if you're doing your own work while you're kind of listening to me, painting and drawing at the same time, that's fine. So we have this on its own layer, and I'll call that drawing 1. Yeah, I haven't done many kind of drawing streams lately. It's all been kind of my work at the moment. I've done my monthly draws as I do, and just my normal streams that I do as well with the artists and things. A new trailer go up as well. It was pretty much the updated version of it, as best as I think I can make it at the moment. I put a little bit more time, kind of effort into it at the moment. I still feel like it could, there could be work at it. I'm always improving on that. But it's there. I feel it tells a little bit more now than what my old trailer does. My normal trailer does. My older trailer doesn't really tell the full story. It just tells you a little bit about the channel, but there's more that's going on, and I'm constantly adding things to it. Like in the recent year, I've had weekly tips pop up, so I did weekly tips now every week, so that's mentioned in there. They do that every week. That's every Wednesday, for if you don't know. Every Wednesday I have those weekly tips pop up, and some of those have been based around this beer kind of concept, drawing the beer. And it's a interesting animal. It's a nice, interesting animal to draw, and I really enjoy drawing it and seeing other artists draw beers and stuff like that. It's great. They're amazing animals, and it's interesting because I've just been watching David Attenborough lately. His latest 7 Worlds. I think I've finished it. Yeah, finished it, and there was one episode that there was beers in it, and it was like recently where I just kind of did the beer scale, I think it was, and then I watched the rest of the series, and I saw the beer, and I was like, oh, looking at it actually moving is quite interesting. You actually see actually see it in real life, like knowing the anatomy behind it, and then you actually see an actual beer kind of move and do different poses and things like that, and it just kind of all comes together, and you can actually see, oh, this actually fits here, and You know, looking at real life, looking at images of them is alright, but I think seeing them move, seeing videos of them move or play or whatever they do, bears, you know, there's are very playful sometimes. Um, you know, it gives a little bit more character to them. You know, it lets you understand their character, and um, because you know, being a character, well, not really character, being a kind of creature, kind of artist, and slash character, kind of creature kind of character in a way. I like to capture poses and things like that, and you know, seeing creatures, these animals that I see, seeing their like pose and their personalities and things does help um, to draw better. You know, seeing the way they interact with life and things like that does give you a better insight into drawing it rather than just drawing images that you see. Yeah, really delving in and understanding how they move, their habitats, anything, any little details can be very helpful eventually. It may not seem helpful at the time. I mean, for me, I'm really interested in that kind of thing. I've always been interested to learn something new about animals all the time. I love to learn more about animals, know what animals are out there. You know, see me watching all those like YouTube kind of videos that you know go over like 15 most dangerous animals or 15 most biggest animals. I watch all those, and I used to have Animal Planet, um, back when I was a kid, you know, and I'd turn that on all the time. Watch Animal Planet when I was at home. Yeah, so yeah, it's always helpful, and it's been amazing. I mean, that's my love for animals has been kind of a thing that I bring over to my illustration kind of career. That's a main drive too, because I've you know all my life I've just loved animals. Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm just drawing this pose here. I'm just not. I'm trying to capture it, but it takes a bit of a few goes at it sometimes. Um, and even after a few goes, sometimes I'm not even getting it right. And you know that happens. It just happens, you know. It might mean that I do, you know, I might need to draw it a few times, come back some other time, and have another go at it. Um, and see what I'm doing here is I've got the background, the previous drawing there, but not at all am I kind of going from it. I could just turn it off and start from there, or start again basically. Um, yeah, because I'm not using it at all now. I've got to kind of do it. And that's just the cool thing about Photoshop or digital painting and drawing. You can chop and change the size as much as you want, you know, like, so you don't have to worry if you draw the head too big and things like that. Which can be up and down. You know, there's good things about that and bad things about that. Um, you know, the good thing you never know, kind of get proportions right. Um, excuse me, you'll never get proportions right. You'll rely on being able to manipulate the drawing, rather than actually kind of getting better at drawing everything um, cohesively, yeah, but it is a tool and it's there, so if you use it to draw, it's fine. And that's the thing, you're gonna epically fail. I'm epically failing right now. You're gonna epically fail every now and again, drawing things, and that's just a learning curve. You can just sit there and draw awesome drawings, get those done, but you won't learn anything, just drawing what you're drawing. When you go out your way, you draw something new. I mean, beers, I don't exactly draw all the time. I do draw animals a lot, but kind of big furry mammals. There's not a lot of big furry mammals that I have drawn like this, so it's something kind of new in a way. Definitely don't draw bears a lot, so it's why I'm failing so bad is because it's something quite new. I mean, the first drawing looks better than that drawing, but it's kind of you get worse before you get better. That's what I see happens. This is me just drawing it. Just being happy with me just drawing it. And then the second one is me trying to really capture him. But epically failing because I'm not fully understanding it yet. I'm trying to piece the pieces. You kind of have to go through all this to get to a good point in a drawing, whether whatever you're drawing. Also learning anatomy as well is really really helpful. I mean, I'm new to this whole beer anatomy thing. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, we'll keep drawing. We'll go to the next one because I'm just gonna epically fail that one probably. We might come back to him again like that, but I'm interested in just drawing what I can. Yeah, just drawing and keeping on drawing, and that's the main thing. I'll get mileage here of drawing bears and things, and that's kind of the main goal at the moment, to get a little bit more mileage in just drawing from reference a bit more, because at the moment I've got a lot of stuff that is I kind of use reference to guide me in some of it, like the book pages that I've got going on, and also yeah, basically book pages. And with my monthly drawing, that's like no reference at all really, it's straight out of my head. There might have been 1 or 2 days where I did use a little bit of reference, not really, when I was at home for a little bit, but no reference really that I used per se. So, and I mean, I'm going to go for about 45 minutes here. or just drawing the beer. I don't, I'm not worried about having like the most perfect drawing, most perfect drawing out of this, um, or any good drawings. I'm just kind of worried about me drawing, basically, getting some mileage in, learning a bit here and there. I'm more worried about that. Yeah, getting better at drawing in general. Like, yeah, get better at drawing bears in general, that kind of thing. That's what I'm worried about, rather than um, worried about getting, you know, 4 or 5 awesome drawings out of doing this live stream or this drawing experiment kind of a thing. And that's kind of is to me a little bit more important. Um, It's always a bonus if you do have 1 or 2 good drawings in there. Um, even if it's not copy word for word. For instance, like this one here, I find that really cool. I quite like that drawing. It's not the best word for word, but it's alright drawing. I could use it as something. Same with this. This one I did before. I do quite kind of like this. I could use this pose later on as well. And that's the thing. You could draw um, these bears, this bear in different poses, and eventually you'll learn that pose and be able to use it with the characters or um, whatever you're working on at the moment. It could help. And that's another thing as well, because it might be somewhere in the future that maybe in one of my books he could be yawning or stretching or something that the beer is kind of doing, and that also adds that element to that I've done before. It's like, I do this drawing that I've done, wherever, as I'm doing a live stream or out there. I'm like been drawing outside my workplace, gone to a museum, did some drawings, or gone somewhere to do some drawings, or done some drawings somewhere of something, of some pose, and maybe one day down the track there might be that pose that I'm like, oh, I remember that pose, of drawing that pose. Maybe I could use this here, and yeah. So sometimes getting that mileage, not getting the best drawing, but just getting that little bit of mileage out there can help a lot. And that's the thing, It's like I used to do. We used to have this club when I was in Wanganui, here in New Zealand. We had a museum there, the Wanganui Museum, and they held a like drawing club kind of a thing. They started a drawing club. Basically, we'd go there and kind of just draw specific things usually. Just kind of go around drawing stuff. Usually what they would do is like set up tables with some specimens from underground. So they had it like underground, where they got stuff they don't usually have at the museum up. They had lots of stuff, like they bought big mowers, live stuffed animals, usually quite smallish, but some of them were decent size. There were lizards, and usually each month there would be like a theme. I think one time there was like old like utensils from like the 1900s and the 1800s, old kind of kitchen and utensils and things, uncommon kind of, and some, what kind of things they had in those days. And other times it was like different kinds of animals. Like we had lizards and snakes one time, and we had like furry creatures as well. For one of them, we did bunny out. Once they the stuff like rabbit that they had. But it was awesome just to get together, draw, see these animals, and draw them in like real flesh. They were kind of well kept specimens, bones, things like that. They were well kept and looked after, and yeah, they looked really cool. And they had a kind of something that had like funny looks on their faces because they were kind of had like um, those stick-on googly eyes or something. Those kind of fake eyes with them. Um, but yeah, it was awesome to have that experience. And same when I was like down south in New Zealand, we went down south um, to the South Island, and we were touring, going to zoos and stuff. When I went to the zoo, I bought my sketchbook, and I was just drawing some birds there and stuff. I didn't get a lot of time to draw there, but it was good just sitting there drawing some birds and stuff. Yeah. So probably need to get a bit closer to the bird, the hand here. Yeah, there could be I like this pose. Like this pose could work for one of my characters, like waving goodbye. Um, I don't know if the bear was actually waving goodbye in this kind of image here, but it definitely looks like he's going to be waving goodbye. I usually don't erase or like paint over it with white. Um, just so I can still see it, I guess. Yeah. Well, usually I make a new layer and I paint with white. So there, it's there if I need it per se. But these days I don't go backwards. Always kind of moving forward. I'm never like erasing back. Oh no, I've done a mistake there. I need to go back to where I was. I haven't done that in a while, in a long time. So, I guess a little bit more confidence in myself for that. So I'm drawing the big shape here, trying to focus more on the big shapes. I think that's one thing I am lacking a little bit on sometimes, is that I kind of focus a little bit more the smaller shapes sometimes rather than the bigger shapes. Yeah. So just understanding those things as well is very helpful. And what you're weak at, which weak points, and what you can improve on when drawing things. Yeah, just note those down. Making this gap, so probably its size. Here we go. Size it up. There we go. That looks alright. Yeah, definitely will go a bit more into the beer pour as well. There are a few topics I do want to do in weekly tips. It does help me. I try and show you a few things while I'm learning at the same time, kind of a thing sometimes. Um, and yeah, sometimes I show you things I really know, like there are some Photoshop tricks in there that I've shown you, or tips really, in the past few months as well. But I don't like to say stay on the same kind of topic every kind of week, like Photoshop or beers, or I like to change it up and play around. I thought this was an interesting pose as well. So it's really looking interesting, like a character per se. Like I said, I'm not exactly copying word for word. It's yeah, that's what it is. I can keep drawing it, and get to the whole point of drawing word for word and making it look exactly like they're drawing. It does take a few goes, a few attempts, and a bit more time, and careful planning, things like that as well. Like what I'll do here is probably look at size as well. If I was to draw it word for word, so I'll show you how I would draw it word for word. Like my goal isn't to draw all these drawings word for word. Yeah, it'll go like this basically, and it'll take me a lot longer, more careful planning, things like that, and for me, kind of drawing word for word, doesn't for me it doesn't add a lot because I've done it for years, on end. Um, it can be a little helpful as well, learning things, drawing things this way, and does teach me a bit here and there about drawing beers and things like that, um, which is great. But just capturing this feeling and things like that um, is helpful too for doing my other characters and stuff like that. With this style, me trying to draw word for word. I feel like it won't add much to my drawings, or the creations that I make in the end. Yeah, and even if I get to this stage, it's gonna take probably a few more attempts to get it word for word perfectly right. Um, but that's the whole process of doing that kind of thing. More time, more relaxed, and just kind of drawing it out slowly, as accurately as possible. Um, yeah, I feel like that loses a lot of the actual feeling of a drawing, you know? Um, that's what I'm trying to say. There's pieces missing of it as well. I feel like this whole thing could be moved down a little bit. Like that. Yeah. It's looking better. So you can get close to drawing word for word. So probably take a few goes and then change things as I go as well. It's helpful to kind of do both, kind of capture him, capture the pose and the drawing, and then doing a word for word as well, like perfectly drawing that. I might go a little bit quiet every now and again because I'm focused on drawing this thing, and you can really tell, like, I in this process I'm much more quiet. With this one, I'm drawing a bit, I'm talking a bit more, I'm kind of um, I'm less accurate per se, but I'm trying to capture the moment here as well. Could pretty much spend a couple of hours or something just trying to get it perfectly accurate. Pretty much. Couple of sketches as well. 'Cause usually, like, the sketch might not be the best, and then I do it again, and it would be perfect. Sometimes, sometimes it's like that. But yeah. But I feel like for me too, I do have to get that out of the way too. That kind of version of it in a way. I do have to get that out there. It done, ticked off the list. To get to this this stage as well. Yeah, it does help your mileage. It does help me get better at drawing bears in general. Things like that. If I want to draw bear characters, at the moment I do not have any bear characters in mind, or anything related to bears. Apart from like my weekly tips and things, it's drawing different animals and things. Yeah, there's nothing. I just like to draw different things and try different things every now and again. Maybe there might be a painting in the future coming up that I could draw bears. I know looking into what might be happening in the future. At the moment, could be into side projects and things coming this year possibly, because my book's coming along slowly. I've still got 3 pages to stream with, and then from there I'm going to be doing the editing and putting it together phase. I'm starting on that now. I'm trying to start as much as I can on that. The editing, putting it together as much as I can. I still have to keep up with the videos though, as well as doing that stuff, which kind of is extra work. I want to get to a point where when I finish page 14, that would be pretty much me signing off and getting my book to the printing stage, you know. That would be awesome. You know, that would be the main goal. But it is going to be fairly hard to get there, so I'm going to have to work a lot at it to get there. I think maybe it could be possible. With carefully planning it and getting out there. There's still, like I said, 3 more pages to paint, which gives me at least 6 weeks to get there. We'll see how we go with it, because while I am painting my pages, I also am editing other pages and finishing other pages off, just giving that little finishes off. Some have more than others, you know. For instance, like page 1 per se, I feel like had more than one of the previous pages I've done, like page 9 or something. There's still a little bit in those pages, but it's not as much as some of the other pages, like previous pages, like before 5, basically. You know, somewhere around there is way more to do than what I actually have in what I actually have to do in page 11 or something. The higher pages, basically. Just because at that stage, I'm starting to really get knowing, my characters in my book, and understanding everything, and getting the lighting right as well. Those things I'm seeing better as I go through the book. So. Probably, definitely stretch that. If I was to draw this again, basically there's not enough gap between these two. It would be more stretched. And I usually in these kind of drawings I can do this digitally. Traditionally, you can't really do this. I mean, you could erase the whole thing and try to draw on top of that, but that doesn't really work that well. You really just want to kind of draw it again, and that's what I do with kind of traditional. The way I do that is different from digital. Traditional, I'll basically start all over again. I'll get to this point and then I'll start all over again with knowing and understanding it now a bit more further. So that's where it goes. Yeah, with digital I just turn the opacity down and I can use what I've got and manipulate it and change it and things like that. It's a little easier, a lot easier. I don't need to like draw the whole thing again. Probably even go a little bit further down. It would probably, and do traditionally, it does add that kind of more mileage to it because you have to kind of start all over again from square one. You can use the drawing you've got, obviously, but only so much of it as well. But it is kind of easier just to kind of start again in that situation. So therefore it gives you more mileage. And that's why I say, traditional is kind of better in a way with that you get a little bit more mileage and those things. You don't have controls there. So yeah, I'm just about to finish off here. I'm gonna call this a stream. So, thanks if you checked out this video, whether it was like on the actual Twitch that I streamed this to, or if it was on my YouTube channel, where I do post this to. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. It's awesome having you guys come and check out my video. Feel free to watch my YouTube trailer. I had a trailer that popped up this Wednesday, just explaining what this channel is about, kind of a thing. Yeah, it's improved from where it was. This channel is always growing, always trying to do new things and create new things. I don't know what else to say. I mean, everyone's all good with this pandemic at the moment. We've got a big pandemic. At the moment, we're on NZ's on lockdown. We pretty much have to stay home. Kind of allowed for walks and stuff, but and to go get groceries. But other than that, you really have to kind of stay home as much as you can. And yeah, for me at the moment, I have to work through it. It's all good. It's all good. But a lot of people are struggling. Some jobs are going as well around the world, even because they have to shut shop because of this pandemic. Business sufferings and things like that. So hopefully everyone's doing well. If you're an illustrator, maybe you might be suffering because there's not too many people. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well and you're keeping safe through this. feel free to draw beers with me. It's all I really have time for. So thank you for joining me. We've been drawing beers. I'll go through the drawings that we have done. So you saw this one. So that one. That one was just fail. That one kind of failed, but you know, trying to capture the essence of it. Then that one, you know, not so failure, and then that one, a little bit better, more iteration of that one, trying to improve it and things like that. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Goodbye.